Top 5 Best Drones. Number 5. DJI Mavic Mini 2. Pros fixes most shortcomings of the original Mavic Mini. Incredibly compact. Same wind resistance as bigger DJI drones. Cons. Only downward obstacle sensing, so not for beginners. 4K video is limited to 30 frames per second. Faster than the original, but still significantly slower than other DJI drones. The original DJI Mavic Mini was undoubtedly revolutionary, bringing serious drone technology to below the magic 250G weight limit, separating drones that need to be registered and those that don't. This means you could, for example, take this drone on holiday to another country, and most likely have no obstacle to flying it other than finding the space to pack it. Of course, the DJI Mini 2 isn't really about shaving off as much weight as possible to fly through a legal loophole. It's about making the smallest practical drone you'd want to use for serious content creation. With that being said, the Mini 2 manages to drop even more weight off compared to the original Mini, down to 242g. The Mavic Mini was undoubtedly the best drone in its price and weight class, but it also had some serious flaws. The video quality was limited to 2.7K footage, it has lackluster wind resistance, and relied on standard Wi-Fi for video transmission. Thankfully, the Mini 2 fixes many of the image issues with the superior DJI OcuSync system. The drone also has improved wind resistance and finally offers 4K video, albeit at 30 frames per second. While its image quality isn't quite up to the 1-inch sensors you'll find on the Air 2S or Mavic Pro 2, it's far from shabby. DJI's Mavic Mini 2 is undoubtedly the best budget camera drone on the market, but do bear in mind that it only has downward obstacle sensing, so the Mini 2 requires more advanced piloting skills than its more expensive family members. Coming in number 4. DJI FPV. Pros offers a gentle learning curve. No assembly required. Better video transmission than any other racing or FPV drone. Can actually create great footage. Cons. While very fast, the FPV isn't as fast or light as typical racing drones. The optional motion controller is a little gimmicky. Generally not suitable for official competitive use. Drone racing is a growing sport that's still quite a niche, and so there aren't many mainstream products that really fall neatly into the category. At this point, if you actually want to race drones competitively, you're much better off buying or building a custom racing drone. But if all you want is to satiate the need for speed and feel like Superman tearing around the sky, then what you want is the DJI FPV. While it's not the fastest or most maneuverable FPV drone you can buy, the DJI FPV is the most polished and complete product in this category. DJI has offered FPV experiences using headsets before, but sadly support for the DJI goggles was dropped and are no longer in production. So if you want the immersive drone experience, the DJI FPV is the official answer from the company. The FPV is an amazing machine with a properly good 4K, 60 frames per second camera, cutting-edge low-latency video transmission technology, and an option motion controller. There's really nothing quite like it. This DJI drone represents the next generation of FPV drone flight and offers a new way to create drone content. FPV footage and the sorts of shots you can get with the FPV range from difficult to impossible with more traditional camera drones. DJI has gone a long way to ensuring that you don't trash your expensive drone out on your very first flight, as well. It has automated protection systems, an emergency brake, and a hover feature. While the FPV may not be as fast as the most barebones carbon fiber custom racer, it's about twice as fast as a Mavic 2 Pro with superior wind resistance. So, despite all the safety nets DJI has included, you can still wreck it with ease if you're not careful. But if you're a solid pilot and want to take your drone content to the next level, the FPV is the drone to get. Coming in number 3. DJI Air 2S. Pros amazing price for what you get. Excellent 1-inch camera sensor with 4K per 60 capability. Supports 10-bit DLOG-M format for professional color correction in post-production. Next generation active obstacle avoidance. Cons. No sensors covering lateral movement. the Mavic 2 Pro still shoots noticeably better photos and video. The original Mavic Air caused an upset to the DJI product line by being so good, making people question why the Mavic Pro was worth the extra money. With the release of the improved DJI Air 2S, you need to be an absolute stickler for image quality to justify the additional price of the Mavic 2 Pro. While the Air 2S might not have the Hasselblad technology built into the Mavic 2 Pro, it still sports a massive 1-inch camera sensor and can record high-quality 5.4K video, compared to the Pro's 4K limit. The 2S also brings a newer version of DJI's OcuSync technology, offering transmission at distances up to 7.5 miles compared to the Pro 2's 6.2-mile promise. The areas the 2S falls short of the more expensive Pro 2 are speed and obstacle sensing. The Pro 2 is just over 2 miles per hour faster than the S2 flat-out. The Mavic Pro 2 also offers omnidirectional obstacle sensing, whereas the 2S has 4 directions only. Granted, with all the features the Air 2S packs in, it's going to be a great drone for nearly everyone. Coming in number 2. DJI Mavic 3 Pro's dual camera system offers unrivaled versatility, incredibly good flight endurance. Omnidirectional obstacle sensing lets you concentrate on getting the shot. Cons: truly professional features and high-performance storage are locked to the Mavic 3 Cine. DJI's premier video drone that doesn't require a Hollywood budget remains the Inspire 2, which was our previous video drone recommendation. There are persistent rumors of an Inspire 3, although it missed the purported 2020 release date. Sadly, finding stock of the Inspire 2 in early 2022 is tough, and the drone is showing its age in ways that aren't related to its video quality. The good news is that the Mavic 3 offers most of what the Inspire 2 does in the video department while surpassing the older drone in virtually every other way, all while costing significantly less. The Mavic 3 combines the Mavic 2 Zoom and Mavic 2 Pro into a single dual-camera system. There's a Hasselblad 4/3-inch CMOS sensor in the main camera with an effective 20 MP of resolution. This allows the drone to capture 5.1K footage at up to 50 frames per second. 4K footage can be recorded at up to 120 frames per second, and 1080 pixels footage can be captured at 240 frames per second. The secondary camera is a 1/2-inch CMOS sensor unit that can shoot 4K footage at 30 frames per second with 28 times hybrid zoom. In other words, it uses a mix of digital and optical methods to provide a high level of zoom. What truly makes the Mavic 3 a better professional video drone than the Inspire 2 and other high-end drones of its generation is the sheer intelligence and endurance of the Mavic 3. You get up to 46 minutes of flight time on a full battery, with up to 15 kilometers of transmission range. This is also a drone with omnidirectional obstacle sensing and avoidance, lifting it above the entire Mavic range. It's far less likely the Mavic 3 will go careening into a pole or tree and ruin your expensive new purchase, which is always great for peace of mind. Unfortunately, the base model Mavic May 3 not be the best choice for the real pros. Instead, they should consider the Mavic 3 Cine, which includes ProRes 422 HQ, and has a 1TB built-in SSD. The Cine costs more than twice the asking price of the standard Mavic 3, but customers of that model should only consider it if the drone will pay for itself over time through commercial work. Coming in number 1. DJI Mavic 2 Pro. Pros. Hasselblad camera is class-leading in the consumer drone space. Fast and powerful. Omnidirectional obstacle sensing. Cons. Not as good as drones that carry DSLR mirrorless cameras, but much cheaper. The Air 2S is nearly as good besides the camera. The Mavic 2 Pro is the flagship photography and videography drone from DJI in its compact, foldable range of drone products. The star of the show here is the Hasselblad L1D20C camera. While the camera's raw specifications are essentially the same as the less expensive Air 2S, this model includes advanced color technology, improving the look of images in both subtle and dramatic ways. While the Mavic 2 Pro is an excellent video drone in its own right, it's photography where this product really shines. Thanks to the large sensor and color technology, there's a noticeable difference in still picture quality over many other drones on the market. Apart from its photo and video chops, the Mavic Pro 2 is a supremely capable drone with both a high 44.7 mph sport mode top speed and omnidirectional obstacle sensing. Although, as with DJI drones in general, you can't use sport mode and obstacle sensing simultaneously, so be careful not to crash into anything when using it. If you want to take great photos with maximum convenience and portability, the Mavic 2 Pro is hard to beat. The DJI Phantom Pro V2.0 is perhaps better looking on paper, but you'll lose all of the compactness, portability, and ready-to-shoot nature of the Mavic 2 Pro, making it difficult to recommend to all but the most discerning of photography nerds.